This kind of gets into the whole Pope thing. We have a new Pope, as you undoubtedly know, but I just thought I would pull up a few of the articles that I found about him because many people don't really know too much about him. So here's a few of the things I found. This is another Liberty Beacon article, and this particular one is saying has he covered up child sex abuse allegations in Chicago and Peru? An election or an outing? ? Robert Prevost, Pope Leo XIV, says Pope Leo XIV looked the other way when confronted with child sex abuse allegations. And then it says from the editor, ouch, how many hours did it take for the new Pope Prevost's pass to catch up with him? Below we have the latest from Daily Mail. So they're pulling this from Daily Mail, which I would tend to think that, even though the Daily Mail can't necessarily always be trusted, that they're not the only ones out there saying that about this guy. American Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost announced as new Pope. So yeah, Robert, the Pope. So we can call him Bob Pope, can't we? It seems to me that that's pretty logical. Call him Bob Pope. Well, speaking of Bob Pope, there was a book called Pope Bob. Looking to see, this was in 2010. When the first American-born Pope, Leo XIV, now keep in mind, this is a screenshot from Amazon, this Kindle book called Pope Bob, from a book that was written in 2010. When the first American-born Pope, Leo XIV, even has the number right, and the name, wakes up on Seattle's Skid Road and discovers that during his most recent alcoholic blackout, the papal plane has been lost over the Atlantic and the world assumes he's dead. Author Bill Dodds uses a light, and at times surprisingly lighthearted, touch to tell the story of vices and vocations, promises and possibilities, fears and faith. He has created a cast of delightful, believable, and unforgettable characters. Again, 2010, it's about the first American-born Pope, Leo XIV, called Pope Bob. Is that a coincidence? Maybe. I just thought that was very unusual. He wasn't from Chicago, though, or at least he didn't end up, I guess he ended up in the story here in Seattle. So, very weird. I just thought that was something worth mentioning. And this guy's probably selling a lot of books now at this point, I would think. Bill Dodds. So, yeah, you can look him up on Amazon and see what you find. And then this one as well, InfoWars, new Pope bashed MAGA, Trump immigration policies, and venerated George Floyd in past tweets. The new Pope has retweeted posts attacking Trump's border wall and immigration policies while backing liberal causes like gun control and George Floyd activism. Well, he is from Chicago after all, right? There's that. Past social media posts made by newly elected Pope Leo XIV shows he's leaned left on social issues and has been critical of the Trump administration's immigration policies, prompted concerns he's a compromised globalist pontiff. So coming back to Bob Pope here, he is not on the short list of the people that I have mentioned over the last week or two of who it was looking like could be chosen, and that came directly from Leo Zagami's website, where he talked about it on there and his various books and stuff. So the person was wrong. However, the personality of the person and the fact that they are a globalist was not wrong. So that aspect of it, I feel like Leo Zagami, and then therefore, because I was repeating his information, got it right, even though it was a different person. So it will be kind of interesting to see where it goes. Leo Zagami says this Pope is worse than Francis, and he was chosen to flood the U.S. with third worlders. So he's not going to do that whilst Trump is in there, because that, the border crossings are down to like 0% now. But this guy's young enough, he could feasibly be Pope for a long time. And I would just, further reiterate that this guy, if he's truly that evil, which, we'll probably find out as we go here, perhaps he will be the biblical false prophet. Don't know. something to keep an eye on. I'll be interested to see how much he is working, how closely he's working with King Charles. So there could be the biblical false prophet along with the biblical antichrist coming up. I do believe we're in the end times. Don't you all? Here's what Leo says. The first American Pope protected pedophiles and attacked Trump's immigration policies. So there's his book, which I'm not promoting, but of course he is. Pope Leo the 14th, born Robert Francis Prevost, September 14th, 1955, is now the first American head of the Catholic Church and the first American sovereign of the Vatican City State, which of course is its own country, right? Many people in the U.S. will be deceived in thinking that this is a good thing. Please read this article and you will realize that is not the case. So we're not going to read this whole article. I've kind of summed it up here for you, but there are further details here, obviously, in this article as well as in this book by Leo Zagami, Confessions of an Illuminati. So I haven't read the book, but I can vouch for his character, and Leo's been a guest on Lost Arts Radio at least one time, way back when, which was a show that I was producing for years, and he's a good guy. I think he definitely knows his stuff. Yeah, and Kathy's saying, Leo Z would know. I totally agree. I think that he's got his finger on the pulse of exactly what's happening in the Catholic Church. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how that is all unfolding. Now, here's the other wacky thing that I found about the Pope. I was showing you the Pope Bob book right here, the screenshot. Well, check this out. So there's this. Let me see if I can read the synopsis. Let me find where that is. I think I have it on a different tab, but I'll come back to it here. Now, this is the synopsis here. This is real. A sci-fi. This is different. This is not the Pope Bob book. A sci-fi short story that was published 20 years ago featured a fictional pope named Leo the 14th, exactly the name of the new pope. In the story, a UFO arrives. The Pope weeps and then says, that thing out there looks like a craft from another world because it is a craft from another world. It has come to the Pope's kingdom because it is the kingdom of the Pope. Weird. Here's a direct link to the story, The Lion of Judah, prequel to the Abyssinian Mission. So here it is. I'm going to link to this in the Substack post. So this is it. This is the whole short story. It's called The Lion of Judah. You can look it up if you want. The Lion of Judah, the prequel to the Abyssinian Mission. Never heard of it, but it's a science fiction short story from years and years ago. I was looking to see if there's a date on it. Yeah, October 2005. So this highlighted bit right here, I just kind of read a little bit, but let me go back over that again. This is just some of the highlighted text here from the story. And you were right before as well. That thing out there looks like a craft from another world because it is a craft from another world. And it has come to the Pope's kingdom because it is the kingdom of the Pope. Katrina was silent for once in her life. The press is not here, said Leo. Somehow, that thing is up there. And no one except us even knows that it is. So no one even knows that I know that it is. No, Holy Father. No one will bear witness to what you do or do not do this morning. I swear to that. And don't worry about the guard. When it comes to UFOs, no one has credibility. For the first time in my life, Katrina looked at me with something less than enriched hatred. Pope Leo the 14th sat very still for a long time, searching for something within him, ... Weird. That is really strange. So this is yet another story about Leo the 14th from years and years ago. And it's not the same book as the first one that I mentioned. I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up and mention it because I think we could be looking at the false prophet here. Just my opinion.